So, you've decided to invest in the national pension system. That's a fantastic move. But now you're staring at all these investment choices, and let's be honest, it can feel a little confusing, right? Well, you're not alone. In this explainer, we're going to slice through all that complexity and show you exactly how to build an NPS portfolio that's perfect for you.
You've taken that first huge step by opting for NPS, but the next question is a big one. How do you actually invest your money inside the system? Don't worry, we've got your back. By the time we're done here, you'll feel way more confident about all the options you have.
To make this super easy to understand, I want you to use your imagination a bit. Let's picture the entire NPS system as a giant, really nice hotel. This hotel has one job: to take care of your retirement savings and help them grow. It's a simple idea, but trust me, it's going to make everything else crystal clear as we move forward.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll check out the different types of accounts so you know where your money's going. Then, we'll look at the investment menu, all the different options you can choose from. After that, we'll tackle a big one. Do you want to take control with active choice or let the system handle it with auto choice? Then, we'll talk about picking the right fund manager. And to wrap it all up, we'll go over the key rules you absolutely need to know.
All right, let's start with the absolute basics. Inside our NPS hotel, you can have two different kinds of rooms, or accounts. They're called Tier 1 and Tier 2. Now, since we're talking about building a long-term retirement fund, we're going to focus almost all of our attention on the main one, which is Tier 1. So what's the difference? Well, think of your Tier I account as your personal retirement vault. The money goes in, it gets locked up, and it grows and grows until you retire. Tier 2, on the other hand, is more like a regular savings account you can access whenever you want. So for everything we talk about from here on out, just know we're focused on that main retirement vault, the Tier I account.
Okay, let's get back to our hotel analogy. Inside this grand hotel for your savings, there are different restaurants. And when you sit down to order, you'll find a menu with 4 main dishes. These are your 4 main investment options, or as they're officially called, asset classes or schemes. Let's see what's on the menu.
First up, we have Scheme E, which stands for equity. This is your order for the stock market. You could say it's the spiciest, most exciting dish on the menu. It comes with higher risk for sure, but it also has the highest potential to give you amazing returns over the long run. This is really your engine for growth.
Next, we've got Scheme G, for government securities. Now, this is the absolute safest, most reliable dish you can order. When you pick this, your money is basically being loaned to the government by buying their bonds. The chance of the government not paying you back is practically zero, which makes it a super stable choice, although it's still affected by changes in interest rates. Then there's Scheme C, which is for corporate debt. With this one, you're lending your money to different companies by buying their bonds. It's kind of the middle ground when it comes to risk. It's generally a lot safer than stocks, but it does carry a little more risk than government bonds, and because of that, it usually offers slightly better returns. And finally, we have the most adventurous option on the menu, Scheme A, for alternative investments. This is where you can put your money into things like real estate investment trusts, also known as REITs, or infrastructure investment trusts called INVITs. This is definitely the riskiest choice of the 4, so it's really only for people who are comfortable with that. Now, you can't just go wild and order whatever you want. The hotel has some house rules, right? You can put a maximum of 75% of your money into Scheme E, the stock market option. For the debt options, G and C, you can go all in, up to 100%. But for that super high-risk Scheme A, you're limited to just a small taste, only 5% of your portfolio.
Okay, so you know the 4 main dishes on the menu. Now for your next huge decision. How do you want to order? Are you the kind of person who wants to be the chef, carefully picking your own exact mix of ingredients? Or would you rather just choose from a preset menu that's already perfectly balanced for you? This, my friends, is the active versus auto choice decision.
If you pick active choice, you are completely in the driver's seat. You decide exactly what percentage of your money goes into stocks, government bonds, corporate bonds, and so on. It's for the hands-on investor. But if you choose auto choice, it's more of a set it and forget it deal. The system automatically manages your investments based on how old you are, making them safer and less risky as you get closer to retirement.
Now, even if you go with the set menu or auto choice, you still get to pick your flavor. If you're feeling adventurous, you can go for the aggressive LC75, which puts up to 75% in stocks. If you want something more balanced, the moderate L50 is probably for you. And if you're playing it safe, there's the conservative LC25. The best part is, the system then automatically lowers your risk every year, so you don't even have to think about it.
Okay, this is super important, so listen up. If you open an NPS account but you don't actively choose your investment style, The system has a default setting. You will automatically be put into the Moderate Life Cycle Fund, the LC50. It is really, really important to know that this is what happens if you don't make a choice.
All right, you've chosen your meal, you've decided whether you're ordering a la carte or going with the set menu. Now for the last big decision. Who's actually going to cook your food? In the NPS world, this is your pension fund manager. Let's help you pick the right restaurant. Right now, you have a list of 10 expert fund managers, or restaurants, to pick from. And you have options. You can pick just one manager to handle everything for you, or you can actually mix and match. For example, you could pick one manager who's amazing with stocks to handle your Scheme E, and another who's a specialist in bonds to handle your Scheme G and C. The choice is yours. The only small rule is that your manager for Scheme A has to be one you're already using for something else.
Ooh, okay. We've talked about a lot of decisions, and it might seem like a lot of pressure. But here is the single most important thing I want you to remember as we wrap this up. None of these choices are permanent. Nothing is set in stone. You have the flexibility to change things later.
That's right. If you went with the active choice, you can actually change your investment mix, how much you have in stocks versus bonds, up to 4 times every single financial year. This gives you so much power to adapt if things in your life or in the market change.
And what about those fund managers, the restaurants we talked about? Well, if you're not happy with how one of them is performing, you can fire them. You're allowed to switch to a new pension fund manager once every financial year. This really keeps them on their toes and puts you in control.
And here is, without a doubt, the best part. All of this amazing flexibility, it is completely 100% tax-free. You see, with many other investments, like mutual funds, if you sell one thing to buy another, that can trigger a tax event. But with NPS, you can rebalance and switch and fine-tune your portfolio as often as you're allowed to without ever worrying about taxes. It is a huge, huge advantage.
So let's do a quick recap. The big decisions on your plate are: focus on that Tier 1 account for retirement, choose your investment style, active or auto, pick your mix of assets from the menu, and select your fund manager or managers. And always, always remember you can revisit and change these choices down the road.
And there you have it. You are now armed with all the information you need to take complete control of your NPS investments. The menu is in your hands. So the only question left is, what will you order? Your ideal retirement portfolio is just a few decisions away.
Hey, if this explainer helped clear things up and made you feel more confident about your NPS choices, do us a favor and hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe for more explainers just like this one. Thanks so much for watching.